And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Thank you to the wonderful and ever so lovely Miss Button for introducing our favorite portion of the show. You heard the woman. She told you over 100 plus times the choices of the voices section of our show. We love this so much. Like, I was like, Scotty D, where's the choices of the voices? She's like, don't worry about it, man. I got a little busy, but I got you. I look forward to it. I look forward to going through the answers and combing through them and looking at the good answers and looking at the foolishness. Oh, Trey Dills, we're going to say the best for last, baby. You can believe that. And with that being said, Scotty D, what's the question for this week's choices of the voices?
Yeah, the tradition question. Now, I apologize. I was a little bit later getting it up there this week. I was distracted studying for my fantasy football spring league draft. Anyway, the question was, we just asked you to cite some of your favorite sports traditions, and I actually asked you to give us something you're personally invested in, as well as something that you see a team do. And we had a couple good answers on here. One in particular that I really, really like. But Eddie, go ahead and get into it, and I'll explain.
Okay, I'll get right into it. And Aiden Collar, he leaves off first. He says Taylor University's Silent Night games where for one game a season, nobody speaks until they score their 10th point.
Aiden Collar is probably our youngest listener. I think he's 16, 17 at this point. I was friends with his dad, and he's been listening to our podcast a little bit and then chimed in on Choices of the Voices the last couple of weeks. And I didn't really know anything about this. Are you guys familiar with this at all? This Taylor University thing?
Because no, I'm not.
I've heard of it.
I had not heard of it, and once I looked into it, this is now like at the top of my list of traditions. So let me just give you a little bit more on this. This Taylor University is a Christian college. It's a Division II school in Upton, Indiana, and they do this Silent Night game once a year on the last Friday of the fall semester before the finals week. So it's in December, and I think they sing Silent Night at the beginning of the game, but they definitely do at the end. But these guys, it's more than just that. They show up. They pack this arena. They show up dressed up like it's Halloween. They're all wearing different costumes and themes that they put together and everything. And then for the first 10, at the beginning of the game, they'll be in the stands collectively, like they're still into the game, but they're not cheering. You might have a little smattering of applause here and there. When the 10th point is scored, whether it's on a basket or a free throw, the place goes bananas. They storm the court. They're out there jumping around. It is electric. It's absolutely incredible. The atmosphere is like at a frenzy. During every time out, they're on the floor doing like different sketches or sketches, something to be entertaining, get the crowd hyped up. And then at the end of the game, they sing Silent Night while the game is going on. So they're going to the free throw line, they're blocking shots, and it doesn't matter. They sing like 4 or 5 verses of Silent Night, and they're locked arms and they're all together. It is awesome. And there's a few different videos on YouTube. The one I came across that I really, really struck me is it's about 15 minutes long. Invest the 15 minutes watching this video. It is so compelling. It'll get you hyped to the point you're like, I want to go down to that. I want to be in that arena dressed up as something, as a sports pro or something. I want to be down there watching this. But this was absolutely incredible. And I can't believe, as hardcore sports fan I am, I've never come across this before. But what an incredible tradition. I mean, it is a sight to behold, really. And if you get a minute, go on YouTube. So Aiden, thank you for that answer, because that brought me to, I had so much fun sitting and watching these couple videos on YouTube of Taylor University from Upton, Indiana.
Wow. Okay, that's a good one, Aiden. Thank you, Aiden. A great one. Another great contribution to this week's Choices of the Voices, man. Keep giving us the good stuff, man. Keep it going, brother. All right,
buddy. Thank you.
Yep, we got the best name of the game. Joe Comfort. He says, "I'm no OSU fan. The Ohio State University." As be like, let me switch the gallery view. Say it again. The Ohio State University. All right. But when their marching band spells Ohio in cursive during halftime at football games, I find that pretty impressive. That is pretty impressive.
Well,
it's hard for us to like that, I think, because we're not Buckeyes fans, right?
Well, what I find impressive is I'm going to reshare my what happened and my feelings about the Ohio State oh my God, I just the disdain and how dare you. Joe, don't no, Joe Comfort. I appreciate the answer, and this is your tradition and everything, and we don't want to get Eddie Cool beat up in his area, his neck of the woods, because he is surrounded by them. He actually lives with one of them, and please tell me we're on gallery view. Oh, he in trouble. But anyway, I digress. Yeah,
Tuba player. Tuba player.ci. Tuba player.
I don't give a Lord. All right, Eddie. Yeah, all right, Eddie Cool.
Tuba.
Amtrak. Yes, sir. All right.
Black and Garnet till I die. Moving right along. We got Uncle Max, the Hall of Famer. He says, I said it before and I'll say it again. The Army-Navy game to me is the greatest tradition in all of sports.
Yes, this was one of Uncle Max's answers for an earlier question that we had. And for someone that has participated in that tradition, being on the 50-yard line for the Army-Navy game, second to none. I honestly do have a different answer because, I mean, there's a lot of emotions that come behind a lot of things that happen with over the course of my life and everything. But that is something that I will never, ever, ever forget, was being on the field for the Army-Navy game. When I tell you, I cried being the bearer of the Brigade of Midshipman flag, being a part of that. So, man, it is an absolutely great tradition. Everything about it, the entire week prior to it, living that entire, being a part of that entire tradition was absolutely amazing. Thank you, Uncle Max.
That is always a great spectacle to see on TV. But wait, Uncle Max has more. He says, as for a family tradition, we would barbecue for the 4th of July and have a wiffle ball home run derby tournament in the backyard. We've even had a pitchback as the catcher. If the ball hit inside of the square in the middle, it was a strike. So you best had better start swinging away. Okay, yeah, a little bit of fun.
I had a pitchback when I was a kid. You guys know what that is?
No, explain it to me. That's why I'm over here like, what's a pitchback?
It's a big net that maybe about 6 feet tall or something, and you tape a square in the middle of it, and when you throw the ball, it'll bounce back to you. I had one of those in my backyard as a kid, but it's actually like a visual strike zone that you set up. Yeah, so just I hadn't actually even heard anybody mention a pitchback in years. That was kind of cool that he said that. Good job, Uncle Max. We love it, buddy. Couple good answers there. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, I think one of the kids in the neighborhood got one of those. Yeah, it's big. Yep, I know it's a pitchback. Okay, yes, Uncle Max. 2 good answers from the Hall of Famer himself, Uncle Max. Damon Benko, he said John Madden's turkey legs. That's
a good tradition. Yeah.
That's a good one. Because to be honest with you, during this whole pandemic and everything, I got a little nervous. Like, are we gonna have any football on Thanksgiving? I was, kind of a little leery about it. But hey, we got some football on Thanksgiving. JR said, let's see football. South Carolina versus Clemson, and Duke basketball versus UNC. JR, look at me. The president of the school has done enough. I'm gonna need you not to spell Clemson with a P.
Well, here's the thing. I will help him out with this. I'm gonna help him out with this because it's actually like the initial pronunciation of Clemson is Clemson. It actually is how it's originally pronounced.
It's not
but over the course of, he spelled it that way as a play on how it was originally pronounced.
I think it was a typo.
No, it isn't. I think it's a
typo. I think he did that.
No, he did that on purpose. I know, and I actually know the tradition behind it. Okay. And it's now it's turned into a dig, and now it's turned into a dig from Coot fans. That's why we call them Coots. To the more far superior team in the state, which is the University of Clemson Tigers. We'll talk about that we'll talk about it later in the show because I want to go in depth with the South Carolina Clemson rivalry. Because Eddie Cool, he almost spilt the beans. I ain't gonna allow him to do it because that's gonna be my time and my pepper, and it's gonna be extra hot. It's about to get hot. Yes, sir.
Be Live in the industry, they call that a lead in. You know, you kind of tell it, but you don't tell it all the way. You just sprinkle just a little flick, and that's all you need. Just a little light flick.
Okay, I hear what you say. Hear what you say, but yeah, you and Scott both like to just rain on my parade from time to time. That's all right. I'm gonna let it go because I'm gonna still come with it. And regardless of what y'all try to do, I'm gonna still come with it. And because that's who I am, is what I do. Yes, sir.
What else do we have, Eddie Cool?
Thank you, Scott. Moving right along, we got Matty Ice, Martin Tracy. He said, my all-time favorite tradition that started well before my childhood, but carried along by my folks like me. As a Boston Red Sox fan, everybody knows the rules. Whenever you see someone wearing a New York Yankees hat or a shirt, you holler real loud in a chatting manner, Yankees suck! Best tradition I know, proud to carry on. Squish the Fish was another good one. Squish the Fish was another good one. I don't know what that means. Can somebody like me on Squish the Fish? Anybody?
I think it's a Dolphins reference for Patriot fan, isn't it?
Okay. Makes sense. Squishing the Fish. Speaking of a Patriots fan, Corey Paul, he says college basketball. He says Duke basketball, Cameron Crazies, chants and jumping up and down while yelling loudly. Just being some college kids making a bunch of damn noise.
Not a Duke fan, but that always does look kind of cool at the beginning of the game. They're bouncing around the Cameron Crazies.
Cameron Indoor Stadium, what it sit like? I'm not even like 8,000 or something like that. It's a very small basketball arena, and they pack it, and it gets incredibly loud in there. And I don't like Duke at all, and I've made that perfectly clear many times. And that's the second mention of Duke basketball. Ain't gonna allow it again. At the third time, I'm just gonna have to nix it. So, yes, sir. All right.
Boy, I bet it get hot and stanky and funky up in there. All them college kids jumping up and down.
Oh, Lord.
Smelling like all day, but I'm gonna stop. I don't know what made me say that. It's just the 8,000 people in one building, just like this, just squished together.
What's one of our old favorite sayings? About like hot sauce and hot and pepper.
Yeah, I smell it like hot sauce. You know what? And hot and pepper. Yeah, just bad, just bad. Don't let nobody mess around and poop. All right, moving right along. We saved the best for last. Yes, we did. Trey Dizzle. He says, Scotty D, I love when the Dallas Cowboys draft pick is about to be announced and all the other fans boo. I think that is awesome. Except for the one time when we drafted Dak Prescott and they laughed instead of booed while I cried. That time it sucked.
Oh, he's not letting up on Dak. Yeah. I tell you what, though, it is. I understand what he's saying, though, and especially a couple times in the last few years, including this year, Drew Pearson went out there and really got the crowd. Got him fired up. It was in Cleveland this year, so it wasn't as bad. But a few years ago, when he was in Philly and he was out there just revving up the crowd, and they booed him mercilessly. That's kind of cool. Actually, it kind of will go in a little bit hand in hand with one of mine later. But Dak Prescott, can't let it go, Trey.
Trey, you got a quarterback, okay? You got a quarterback that was on fire. You got a quarterback that was on fire last year until he got hurt. I mean, you could be a Denver Bronco fan. You could be
and have Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, well, you could be a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, or even worse.
Hold on, buddy.
Bad examples there.
Hold on, buddy. They T-Law, baby. It's his time to shine. I'm just saying, yeah. Okay, you got the number one. Exactly. You see the paw on the shirt. Yeah. We're gonna apologize to our listeners for his Eddie Cool's bad references of teams that Denver could end up with Aaron Rodgers. I said before that would be a bad idea for them, but Jacksonville has their quarterback of the future. I'm just gonna say this to Trey Dizzle, just because I like to poke the bear. $160 million. Oh yeah, you're gonna have to get over that, bruh. Because there's you just you is STUCK stuck.
It hurts so bad. It hurts so bad.
6 zeros and throw 6 more zeros. And what's that one of them rap songs on them with them commas? Got to hit them with them commas.
Yeah,
I can't say the actual word, but hit them with them commas.
Yeah,
there's 2 commas in that $160 million.
Let's change the subject on that Prescott contract. It hurts so much.
4 years, average of $40 million a year. How much guarantee was it? $127 million guarantee.
It hurts.
Bears are being poked and abdominal regions are hurt, and it ain't gas. It's Dak Prescott.
And it hurts so good. Tell me, baby, it hurts so good.
Super Bowl. All right, what else we got, Eddie? Cool.
All right, man. So here we go. Shout out to Aiden, Joe Comfort, Uncle Max, Damon Benko, JR, Martin Tracy, Corey Paul, and Trey Dizzle for their participation in this week's edition of the Choices of the Voices. Scotty D, what you got for this week's answer of the Choices of the Voices?
Well, one tradition that I don't know if you guys have seen, because it's not always you can't always see it on TV, but in the first inning of Yankee games when they are in the field, the right field section called the bleacher creatures do what they call roll call. And I was part of this a few years back in 2008. I went to the old Yankee Stadium in the last season and sat up there with the bleacher creatures. And what they do is they would go around, Derek Jeter. They would chant, A-Rod, they would chant every guy's name until they were acknowledged. So they'd chant A-Rod's name, he'd wave out him, and then everybody would cheer. Then they'd chant Jeter, and then he'd wave, and then all cheer. They did this to all 9 position players. Or I don't know if they did the pitcher, but that's kind of a cool tradition that I was a part of one time, that the Yankee fans do that. One for me personally, actually, there's kind of 2 that go back to, here it is, Overtime Sports Cafe. I spent 16 years there and a lot of traditions established. At the beginning of the NFL season, so you guys know what I'm talking about. But if you've never been there, Overtime was a sports bar I worked at, and it had a 10-foot video wall that we would divide into 4 screens. We also had 3 projector screens. Pardon me. Wow.
Third time's the charm. You got it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, projector screens, and we would feature a different NFL game on there. So at about 10 till 1 every Sunday, I would play Let's Get It Started by the Black Eyed Peas to get the crowd kind of fired up. And then I would go up on the stage and let everybody know what game was going to be on each screen. And then I would call out each team that everyone would cheer. We got the Steelers on this screen and people cheer. Then the Browns. Yeah, they would, and I would always make sure when I told them when the Cowboys would play, I would crank it up good. And I would say, and on this screen, your Dallas Cowboys, and I would get booed like Drew Pearson, and it was amazing. It was awesome. I loved it. It was my favorite part of the Sunday morning tradition at Overtime Sports Cafe. And another thing I used to love was Selection Sunday at Overtime. Whenever we had the big March Madness bracket, and they would announce it, and I would fill it in on the screens as we go down. Then I would run the brackets, and we would have a little poll one, and then at the end of every March Madness tournament, after the championship game, I always, before I decide to turn off, I'm going to listen to them play One Shining Moment and show like the highlights that happened over the few weeks of the tournament. I think that's a great tradition. From Selection Sunday to One Shining Moment. Love March Madness, that whole tradition. It's good to get it back this year. And lots of traditions over at Old Overtime Sports Cafe, but those were a couple of my favorite ones. Be Live, how about you? What you got, buddy?
All right. We're just going to take a moment. You hit some heartstrings there, because
Overtime Sports Cafe.
Overtime, man. We're talking how many years ago we meet? What was it? We're looking at 16, 17 years now?
Somewhere in the neighborhood. 17,
probably
17,
around
18.
2005 or 6, somewhere in there, yeah.
I know on my 22nd birthday, it was one of my stops when I was riding in the limo. So that was
woohoo.
That was 16 years ago. That was 2004. and we did make a
Okay,
stop
wow.
there.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that limbo was something else. Pay attention. Pay attention.
Here we go.
Oh, man. But yeah, when it comes to traditions in sports, that's why I had to wear the Paul, because it's one of those things. There's traditions everywhere across the board. Uncle Matt's mentioned the Army Navy game, which is just, again, second to none when it comes to overall traditions. And my heart will always be there. But when it comes to Clemson, I bleed orange. A close, I would say, a consolation prize is Carolina Panthers football games, where one side of the stadium yells "Key" and the other side yells "Pounded." And then at the end of
Oh
the game,
God.
hush your mouth. Hey, this is my time. I don't understand why we have this problem all the time. Let me have my time. And then at the end, after Carolina Panthers victory, sweet Caroline, the whole crowds go, ba, ba, ba. Good times never seem so good, so good, so good, so good. But yes, Clemson football. Both traditions, their tradition on the field and my tradition at home, are my favorite traditions, period, point blank. It is what it is. So back in 1985, it was a Clemson home game against Georgia. One of the most storied commentators in college football goes by the name of Brent Musburger, described the Tigers charging down the hill as the most exciting 25 seconds in college football. And let me describe to you what the tradition is. The locker rooms are actually located on the other side of the field from the hill. And so when they leave, they go to the field for practice and everything before the game, and then they head to the locker rooms. After they gather themselves in the locker rooms, they actually have buses parked on the other side of the field, and every player climbs on a set of buses, and the buses are escorted by police around the stadium to the top of the hill, where all the football players come out, and before they run down the hill, they touch Howard's Rock, which is another story tradition within itself. And if you won't give 110%, keep your hands off my filthy rock. Yes, sir, Frank Howard, one of the storied college football coaches at Clemson. And so after touching the rock, the cannons fire, all the players and coaches run down the hill. The band plays. The band is lined up on the field. They run through the band. The cheerleaders carrying the flag spell out, and the whole crowd CLELSON. It's just most exciting 25 seconds of college football. My favorite pregame ritual, though, it has to go to my dude, because this is what I do every time before I head to wherever I got to go, before the game, whatever. Before I head out, I hear one of Clemson's anthems by Martin Yoda Jenkins, who used to play cornerback for Clemson, and the song is called "We Too Deep," and it was a moniker that was dubbed by the great Dabo Sweeney. All roads lead to Dabo. You knew at some point in time we're going to get there. But yeah, look up "We Too Deep" by Yoda on YouTube, and you'll see why I play it every single Saturday that Clemson plays. And I got the jersey on, and let's go. Yes, sir.
And touching
Always.
Dabo's rock? Is that one of your
No, don't do that. Don't do that. That is that is Howard's Rock.
You would like to touch Dabo's rock, I bet.
I will punch you in the throat.
Eddie Cool, what you got, buddy?
Oh my God, you son of a boy. I do want to apologize ahead of time to Mama and Papa Donnelly. I know you did not raise him like this. I know this is not your doing. So much respect to the Donnelly family. That this is something I don't know where this came from, and I do not blame you one bit whatsoever. This is a creature within itself, and for some reason, I may possibly had something to do with it because I may poke the bear from time to time. So he does. He does come out of pocket.
Dabo's Rocks. Hey, cool. What you got, buddy?
Wow, the most exciting 25 seconds seem like the longest 45 minutes on this here podcast. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you know I am Gamecock all day, all night, and Be Live is Tame Them Kitties. Yeah, all that. So let me put this here speaker view back on me. You see my wonderful face. How you doing out there? I see all y'all. So me being a South Carolina Gamecocks fan, we have several traditions. A few of my favorite ones,
and all of them suck. Oh, sorry, my bad. I'm sorry. I got.
We gotta run down here, and we gotta run right. Okay, gotcha. So here we go. All right. So one of my 3 favorite traditions are at home games. You see the smoke. You hear the crowd roar. You hear a theme. That's for me with the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Yes, they played a 2001 theme, and the Gamecocks come running, roaring, flying out of the locker room, ready to kick some behind. Speaking of kicking behind, there's also a chant. Yep, there's also a chant that we have as well, too. All right? The chant that we have as well, too. Yeah, Be Live, it's going to be great. So anyways, a chant that we have on every kickoff, when we kick into the opposing team after we score a touchdown or a field goal, it goes, go, fight, win, and kick ass. Just imagine 80,000 people just saying that, just saying kick ass and not getting yelled at for cussing. I've even heard little kids say, go, fight, win, kick ass. A very, very, very great tradition. And also, when there's a little small murmur in the crowd, you hear the you see the white towel swinging like Petey Pablo, like North Carolina, South Carolina, come on and raise up. They play the Sandstorm, and next thing you know, Williams-Brice is jumping, baby. It is jumping up and down. Be Live. It is jumping up and down up in that thing. 85,000 strong, just jumping up and down, waving towels. We just out there doing it. We're just out there doing it, man. And as they say in the 80s, if it ain't swinging, we ain't playing. Those are a few of my traditions. But I also like, Thursday football and Turkey Day and all that good stuff. But yeah, those are a few of my favorite traditions at the University of South Carolina. So we don't get it understood. All right, that's been it for another edition of the Choice of the Voices section. And with that being said, Scotty D,
Williams-Brice Stadium, the upside down cockroach.
Let me see if I can find this mute button here.
The $1 million Gamecock with no Spurs.
I will turn. So Scotty D, with that being said, what's on tap for next week? I know what's on tap for Be Live in about 10 minutes.
All right. So I think it was 2 years ago, we talked over what our favorite sports movies were. Now, next week, I want to know what is the worst sports movie you feel like you've ever seen? What movie did you hate the most? What was just the hot garbage, the turd of all sports movies? I think when we determined the best, I decided Caddyshack was the winner. Caddyshack 2 is pretty bad. So you got right off the top there's a great one and a lousy one. But there have been, it seems like a lot of sports movies suck. Doesn't it? Doesn't it seem like a lot of them are just clunkers?
Yeah, it's like
there are some good ones, but it seems like sports movies are hard to pull off for some reason. I don't know. But anyway, that'll give us something to talk about next week. Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
They're unrealistic. They be trying to get in the fields, and I'm just like, I get it, but yeah,
it's like yeah. I get it. It's like we get it, but we know this ain't real life.
Rich what? Richmond. Rich what? Richmond. And that's actually a good one, but yeah. Yeah. But yeah, there are some clunkers, but I'm actually looking forward to that.
Yeah. Well, give us something to talk about in 2 weeks or next week. 2 weeks. Next week, worst sports movie.
Yep, worst sports movie. Turd burgers, a booger flicker, if you will, on next week's edition of The Choices of the Voices. Come back next week and have some fun with us one more time. Hopefully, I didn't black B-Live's eye for making those blasphemous, derogatory statements about the University of South Carolina. See you next week.